Alright, that's it. Let's get into the freaking video. Sorry. Let's go.
The situation surrounding this Dandanon edit, as well as the voice actor AJ Beckles, the English voice actor for Okrun in Dandanon, is actually continuing to proliferate. Things are still getting even crazier. If you haven't seen
I heard about this.
The situation surrounding this Dandanon edit, as well as the voice actor
I kind of get, like, if it's, my whole thing on this is, like, if it's a, similar to the Hatsune Miku situation where you had, like, Brazilian Miku, my whole situation is, hey, when it comes to fan art, I'm totally all for it. Like, yeah, have you, like, you could totally do, like, I'm just gonna say it like it is, like, listen, I'm sorry, I'm not politically correct, I tried to be, I really did, but, like, I'm just gonna call it what it is, I'm gonna talk the way I talk here in LA, so, yeah, if you want to make, like, a black Dandanon edit, or a black Nami, a black, Luffy from One Piece, like, it's, I don't know, I feel like it's totally fine, the same way it's cool to make Brazilian Miku, or, like, black Miku, or, like, Latina Miku, or whatever the frick, I don't see any problem with it. But what is this guy saying? Every time there is a black actor cast in a role in fantasy where the source material version is lighter skinned, someone always has something to say about it. So tiring, it doesn't affect the character, whatever, so it's okay. No, that's not true. That's a stupid take. Yeah, that's a very stupid take. Because, like, because if you apply that same logic to any other situation, it wouldn't work. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's say I remade Django Unchained, but I made Django a white guy, and I made the German guy a black German guy. Just wouldn't make sense, would it? Like, it would just be stupid. Like, that doesn't make any logical sense. Let's say I made a movie, I'm trying. I was gonna say Driving Miss Daisy, but that's kind of the same, like, angle. I probably should have used that one instead of the Django one, to be completely fair. Like, let's say you made, so this one, this is not a separate one. Basically, I'm making the same point as the Django one. But let's say Driving Miss Daisy, if the driver was a white old man and the woman was, the driver was a white gentleman, and then the lady was a black old lady. And like, it would, the roles reversed there wouldn't make any freaking sense, would it? Like, it would absolutely affect the character. Like, why would a police pull over a white guy for driving around a black, like, lady? Like, no, it was meant to emphasize how police officers will pull over a black man just for being behind the wheel, even though it's his literal job to be behind a wheel and drive around this woman. You get me? So it's absolutely, like, it absolutely matters. So it's just a stupid take. If we wanted to say it doesn't matter to the source material, or it's not affecting the I don't know, canonicness of the material, then I would say also wrong. Like, I don't know where we started, like, making these changes where it's like, this is, and you know what? I feel like it has to. I feel like it's because of freaking Batman. I'm sorry, I gotta explain that one, right? But I feel like it's because of Batman and Superman and, like, all the heroes in DC mainly. But, like, cause suddenly it does, like, it's just like this. Yeah, this is new. We have like 20 Batmans and like 3 different Spider-Mans. But at the end of the day, it's like, when it comes to superheroes, the hero is the costume. The actor just sort of portrays the freaking, like, the guy. But at the end of the day, I feel like the costume is the hero. You know what I'm saying? Like, Batman still should be Batman. And if it's not Batman, people hate it. Superman should be Superman. And when it's not, people hate it. The Joker should be the Joker. And when it's not the Joker, when it's freaking Jared Leto acting like, a demented middle schooler covered in tattoos from head to toes, looking like My Chemical Romance just decided to cosplay Joker that day. No beef with My Chemical Romance. I love them. Just saying. It doesn't make sense. People hate it because that's not the Joker. It doesn't make any sense for that to be the Joker. It had nothing to do with his skin color, because the guy's clearly white. He's a freaking clown. But it has everything to do with the fact that that's just not how that character is really portrayed, is it? That's not That makes no sense. Meanwhile, on that same like train of thought, if you were to take a character, say Goku, and you were to say, "Hey, look, this is Goku," but you drew him as like, you know, basically a edit, a black person, it's like, no, duh, like that's just not Goku. Goku's more like, first of all, he's a Saiyan, he's not even human. Second of all, in the story, it's a Japanese person. Now, I'm not exactly a professional when it comes to Japanese people, but I don't think Japanese people tend to be black. Haven't really seen that many Japanese people, but I haven't really seen many that look like this. So I don't know why it's like, no, the character, we can just sort of change whatever we feel like about a character, and it's still the same character because we called it the same name. It's like, no, that's not how it works. A character is a character. The character is the character. If Sonic the Hedgehog was a freaking echidna, it wouldn't be Sonic the Hedgehog, would it? You know, it like, we can't like, you can't just sort of change a bunch of stuff and just be like, it's still the same character. It's not. It's really not, and I don't feel like it makes sense to say that it is and that it doesn't change anything. Not in the overarching story of things, probably not. But if a character is a blonde woman with green eyes and freckles, but then in the movie they're not like that, then it's just not the same character. Hermione in the movies and Hermione in the books are basically two different characters. Like, they're just really not the same person at all. They look nothing like Hermione in the movies practically looks nothing like what the freaking books mention her to be. Like, actually, though. Alright, sorry. Just had to put that out there because I haven't really spoken on that and I haven't given my opinion on that.
Things are still getting even crazier. If you haven't seen my prior videos on this topic, please consider watching them for additional context. Otherwise, you're
But I think it's totally fine to do it as a freaking
with everything that's happened.
fan art.
Another
100%.
important thing to note regarding these sort of edits
I love this little edit. It looks
have
cool.
been building
Kinda,
for literal years. I saw some people thinking that this was like
I should
the
watch
first
Bandit.
time
I
this
haven't
sort
seen
of
that.
situation has occurred, and that's absolutely not the case. As what we're seeing happen now is really the culmination of Asian artists being sick of double standards and sick of how they've been getting harassed for literal years by the same groups of people that have these double standards, which is also something that I've been covering routinely on this channel for years. So many of you are probably very familiar with this stuff. But just to very quickly give a few previous examples, there was a situation where an Asian artist drew Nessa, and Nessa was depicted lighter than she
looks gorgeous.
is usually depicted,
That's
which
cool.
this artist received tremendous harassment. Another time, there was an artist who drew Kaya from Genshin Impact, and similarly, this artist was accused of lightening Kaya, to which this artist received also tremendous harassment. But on top of that, a bunch of people on Twitter ripping this person's art and editing Kaya to be darker than this artist depicted them as.
Oh, I see what they're saying. So when they kind of innocently, you know, theoretically, kind of innocently paint them in a lighter tone, they get mad and darken them. But when you guys, on purpose, completely draw them way darker than they should be, like there's like nobody's. We were okay with that. We're just
Eventually, that artist deleted their entire account.
that is a pretty big
situation
double standard, to
where
be
an artist drew
fair.
Kaya from Genshin Impact, as well as D-Luke and some of the female characters. Maybe that's like Jean and Lumine or something. And as you can see, the art is literally in black and white. But that didn't stop these weirdo Twitter police. These
I genuinely believe that it should be down to the original artist's interpretation, and you should try to keep it as close to that as possible. This is not a big deal, right? Is it really? Like, what are we talking about here? But when it comes to the artistic morality, the morals of artists of art, I feel like, yeah, you should probably just keep it to like the original like creator's interpretation,
harassing this artist,
unless the entire purpose of the art is to be, like in this case, the entire point of it is to be like, hey, this is Dandadan cast, but as you know, what if they were black people? What if they were like African American people specifically? You know, I love it, like it. I like the art. I think it's cool.
Despite once again the art literally being in black and white, and they insulted this artist and took the art, editing it to make Kaya black. For some reason, they also made D-Luke black as well, seemingly just to mess with and harass the
I don't know
artist.
Kaya, so I don't know how dark he's supposed to actually look.
They doubled down, and ultimately the artist decided to
Bro, I gotta
delete
get
their
back
entire
into
account. As you can see from one of the final
Tuesday.
tweets that artist made, they were talking about how these people were causing them tremendous amounts of stress, and all they wanted to do was post the art that they made for people and themselves to enjoy. There's actually even more to that situation.
At the end of the day, isn't that what every artist just wants?
Rabbit hole, but One of the main people who harassed that artist would go on throughout the years to harass numerous other artists, also make a bunch of alt accounts.
You know what's funny, and it's like the one person I have not heard is getting mad about this is the actual original artist, the actual original creator, because he doesn't care. He just loves the idea that people are making art about their artists. The Nessa original creator never complained. The Genshin Impact artists that originally created them never complained. They just like the people enjoying their characters, right? The internet's a funny place.
And continually play victim, and doing this really weird thing where they would constantly change their age. Sometimes they would say they're like 16, then they'd say they're 13, things like that. And a lot of people would defend this person, saying like, oh, they're just making edits, it's not a big deal. But eventually they became so notorious for all of this stuff, including one of the final situations being when they harassed a looming artist and tried to get her to take her life, that nobody was defending this person anymore, and they had been completely exposed by various people on Twitter, including myself.
Yeah, literally nobody should be harassing anybody, and if you are, you're just in the wrong, period. Like,
video that I made covering the situation.
Let's be real there.
And the harasser getting a taste of their own medicine and going on to delete every single one of their accounts. I'll give you one more final example here as something that's a little bit different from the sort of things that we've covered so far, and then we'll move on to the current news. So in this final example, there was an Asian artist who drew ship art of Genshin Impact characters, to which they got harassed for simply drawing straight ship art. The people harassing them,
like, why? Like, just let them draw, like, what the frick? Just let them draw whatever the frick!
All offended that this artist was not drawing Yuri. To be quite frank, all this stuff is so petty and stupid that even just explaining it is making me
like, bro, to the artists out there, if anybody starts harassing you for that, ban them. Do yourself a favor and just ban everybody who harasses you. Just ban them and block them. Ban them and block them. Just all of them. Why? Like, why? Why deal with that? You don't need to deal with that. There's gonna be people out there who are like, this is nice. I like the artwork. I appreciate the work that went into this and it looks good. And they're gonna move on with their day. They're gonna drop you a like and they're gonna go on with it. They're just gonna appreciate that you drew something beautiful. And that's it. Just keep those people in your community and get rid of everybody else. You don't need them. Let's be real. Let's be real. Come on.
Like in disbelief, even though I've talked about this stuff before. It's just all so weird, man. I seriously don't know what's wrong with these Twitter police types of people. And keep in mind, those are only a few examples of videos I've made covering this sort of thing for years. There's probably well over a dozen videos I've got on topics like this. And so after years of this stuff going on, people are sick of artists getting harassed for drawing a character a bit lighter, etc., etc., and the double standards that Twitter police have when they're darkening characters. This once again now taking us to the recent situation with the Dandelion art, and how many people in Japan were calling this a racist depiction, to which the English voice actor for Okarun changed his profile pic to that depiction of Okarun with a darkened skin, but it being a very momentary thing, I believe lasting less than 24 hours, as many people in Japan began to call for this person to lose their job, and other people dug up racist tweets that this voice actor had made, once again pointing out double standards. The Japanese tweet demanding for AJ to lose his job now has over 127,000 likes on Twitter.
To be fair, I absolutely have to say, that was just a stupid move. Why are you getting into, like, as a voice actor, especially as someone who does the official voice actor of that character, like, why are you getting involved? Why are you getting involved? Like, just do the voice. Like, what are you doing? There's no need for that. Stop. You're not a freaking like advocate for anything. Stop trying to get involved in everything. Just do the freaking voice. Like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Like, what the frick? But more so than that, I get that it's a double standard, but I also don't see a problem with him making his, like, profile picture that, you know what I mean? I think outside of the context, it's totally fine. In the context, he's definitely trying to take a side here, it feels like. And I can see why people are mad, you know? Because it is a double standard. It really is a double standard. But, I don't really see anything wrong with him making that his profile picture, personally. But I can absolutely see the double standard there.
Twitter, and over 62 million views on Twitter. For comparison, just 2 days ago when I talked about that situation, that tweet had around 17,000 likes. In other words, the situation, as mentioned previously, is continuing to proliferate, and AJ has also taken his next action as well, that being deleting his entire Twitter account, although it does seem to be a temporary thing based off statements that he has made on his Blue Sky account that will...
Bro, and isn't that... Here's the interesting part, too, is the fact that he kept it up for 24 hours and then took it down. Like, either stand on business or, like, get out. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna stand on... Like, if you're gonna make that statement, it's like... Stand on it. Like, you can't do it and then back out. Like, what's wrong with, like...
We'll take a look at in a moment. Before we do that, here's some of the responses at the top from Japanese people. This one reading, instead of taking over Japanese works, he should create original manga with black protagonists. A rather upset response.
Yo, thank you! Thank you! Yes! Bro, I'm still waiting on, what was it called? I think it was called, like, Buster or something like that. It was an anime being created by the creator of the Boondocks. I remember going to Anime Expo like 2 years back and watching him talk about this alongside the creator of Voltron at the time on the anime on Netflix. And bro, I was like so freaking hyped for it because that was it. That was the point. The point was a completely new, unique, and new world with new characters set in a world where like the main character and I believe like the sidekick were predominantly black people, and I freaking loved it. The characters looked great. The waifus looked gorgeous. The freaking action, like the art, the what is it? Concept art looked freaking cool. Oh, the world concept art was amazing. I need to look up, like, if I can see it. While this plays, let me see if I can look it up.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know they broke into the author's office, held him at gunpoint, and hijacked the manga, forcing for all the characters to be made black. It's one small piece of art. Y'all are whining like losers, for real. To which another Japanese person says, not everything must be about you. Draw your own characters. If you change something, you want to make it better. Means you think original version is inferior. You invalidate Japanese people's feelings and call the art small. You don't like if we make black characters Asian, right? Another one saying, honestly, I just want anime to be entertaining. The original creators are the ones who breathe life into the characters after all. And this one saying, the character that the author brought to life is removed, and someone else is introduced. I would like people to understand that if they have no respect for the work, they should not get involved, and that excessive action will only create further division. It seems like
I can honestly agree with that statement. Again, within the context of this being a double standard, I can agree with that statement. I genuinely don't see a I genuinely do not feel like it should be a problem for anyone to create fan art of a particular character, especially if they just want to help, like if they just want to identify with that character a little bit more, and so they draw them in their particular nationality or rate or ethnicity, I guess would be the correct term. I don't know. I can absolutely see that. It's just a cool way to further relate to that character and further create a connection with that character. You know, I feel like it shows a lot of love for that character. But within the context of this being such a big double standard, I can absolutely understand why people are like basically saying, no, if you're gonna play those games and you're going to come at us whenever we do this or it happens, then we're gonna do the same thing. And it's petty, but it's definitely like it's happening. You can't say it's not happening.
If the harassment and double standard stuff wasn't occurring for years, that the tension
would not be
so high right now.
I can't say it's not necessarily not well deserved, but I'm not gonna say at the same time that like if you're gonna fling rocks, don't be surprised if the other people starts to fling rocks back. You get me? Like what are we talking about?
Japanese people who are sick of the double standards. There's been a lot of people in the West of various demographics, including lots of black people, talking about how they're also sick of these double standards.
P.S. to anyone out there, feel free to draw me, Bon, Nana, and a surprise character that has not been revealed yet in any ethnicity that you freaking want. I don't care. It does not matter. Especially me, because technically I'm a companion spirit, so I can change whatever the frick I want. If I want to go darker, I'll go darker. I actually tried to match up my VTuber's skin tone to my actual IRL skin tone, like as close as I possibly could get it. So there you go.
That takes us to AJ's Blue Sky account where he says, I deactivated my Twitter so the racists have nothing to interact with. Don't worry, I'm fine, guys. As well as, yo boy will be back soon. Maybe he really did deactivate just because of these racist messages that he's referring to. However, when there's a tweet with over 100
I gotta be honest though, all he needed was this top one. This is literally just antagonizing for no reason. Like, nobody ever leaves Twitter without making a big deal about them leaving Twitter, do they? They really cannot leave Twitter without making a big ass deal about them leaving Twitter. They gotta make sure everybody knows that they're leaving Twitter. It is what it is though. But this is just antagonizing for like no reason, and it's also incredibly disingenuous. And it really feels like, yeah, this feels like he's being very disingenuous. It feels like he's trying to create a similar to like a lot of the Hollywood and woke culture, like the more extreme woke culture. As someone who genuinely believes in the message of woke and genuinely believes that we should, strive for more diversity, the more extreme woke people, this is the exact same kind of language where everything that is goes against their point of view has to be a Nazi, has to be a racist, has to be what is the other freaking misogynist. It has to be something. They got to use every possible bad thing on the book, like a cult. You know, like when cults start to make up language for you, like when it's like, oh no, you're a vet, you're whatever. What is it called? A CV. Was it culture vampire? No, credibility vampire, something like that. Like cults always try to like turn like they're the bad guys. Everyone who goes against us is the bad guys. They're this one thing. They're all everyone is in the same team. It's red team versus blue team. It's not that we're in the wrong ever. It's that literally every single other person ever that ever existed just is wrong and not us. You get me? And so we're gonna give them all one unanimous title: racist, bigot, whatever the frick you want to give it, and we're gonna just say that that's what they are. Done. Everything they say is disregarded. Everything that they talk about doesn't matter because they're the bad guy. They're not our side guys. Doesn't matter what they say. Don't listen to them. You get what I'm saying? That's what this feels like, and it really doesn't make me want to like root for you here, AJ. I gotta be real.
As well as your boy will be back soon.
I'm really trying to because I love voice actors and I love the voice acting scene and I want to be a voice actor and all that. But it makes it real tough.
However, when there's a tweet with over 100,000 likes from
like
Japanese
these are your fans you're talking about. You understand that? So everybody that disagrees with this point of view, even me, is racist now suddenly? Now I'm racist too. I'm over here defending you, bro. I'm putting my neck out on the line for you, but I'm a racist now? Okay? No, it's fine.
People calling for him to lose his job over the recent
and then they wonder why they got no allies.
As well as other people digging up racist tweets that he had made in the past. It's caused a lot of people to speculate.
Oh, they were digging up racist tweets that he made?
As always, of course, come to your own conclusion.
Well, you see, but you see that racism, that doesn't help him in his case, so...
Something else that I find very interesting is that so far we've actually seen a lack of other voice actors defending AJ. Previously, during situations like this where a controversial situation is going viral...
Well, yeah, I mean, fair is fair. I as a very small-time voice actor, I immediately want to defend him too. No, most definitely. It's fair. It's a bias, and it's a logical bias.
Space on social media. It would
believe it or not, a UPS worker that starts to fight for the rights of UPS workers is probably gonna get support from other UPS workers. You get me? Like, it's gonna like they're kind of all in the same field. They kind of want to all look out for each other.
Common to see a number of other voice actors also getting involved, and yet that doesn't seem to be the case right now. Let me know why you think that might be. Perhaps some of them are actually in disagreement with AJ, or maybe they see how many people in Japan are calling AJ out, and they want to avoid that also potentially happening to them. Of course, there's also been this ongoing situation with SAG-AFTRA and general concerns that voice actors have about potentially being replaced by AI voices. So maybe now a lot of them are instead just trying to play things safe, instead of getting involved in controversies.
Oh, dude, I have so much to talk about with the SAG-AFTRA thing. I gotta find a video that, like, goes into this discussion further. But I genuinely believe that the best solution here is actually a middle road that neither the pro or anti SAG AFTRA like teams are going for, which is I believe that actual voice actors should allow companies to use their voice using AI, but they should get royalties for that AI voice being used because it is using their voice. And I don't believe that any act because and this is literally this turns into more of a labor law discussion in the United States of America than anything else. Because if we're gonna genuinely start to replace jobs with AI, which we are, like easy, forget about this, easy, like voice acting, easy, gonna get replaced, right? Done. But also McDonald's. Now we have McDonald's that are fully AI, fully automated. You just need one or two managers, like a manager and an engineer, basically, not engineer, what would it be, mechanic, technician on site to make sure everything's running smoothly, and you're fine. Like a lot of these jobs are gonna get replaced, and so it goes into a wider discussion about whether we're gonna have to start giving, whether you agree with me or not. It starts to get into a whole other discussion about whether we're gonna start getting universal basic income or what exactly the future of jobs in America is going to be realistically. Even though now we're kind of seeing a little bit of that, where most money making jobs are being on the internet instead, streaming, OnlyFans, stuff like that. Let's just be completely honest. Welcome to 2025, baby.
Like they used to, or at the very
Welcome to
least,
2025, baby.
And lastly,
Woo!
regarding the person who made
it's gonna be a fun ride.
Edit to begin with, there would be other concerns raised by various artists on
Twitter.
For example, this tweet got over 14,000 likes. That reads, "So much controversy over this, but my concern is that they sell paintovers/edits of other people's art. Putting all the racism debate to aside, someone who steals art and sells getting 40k plus followers for it is just sad. What's being referred to as how..."
Huh? Oh, are you saying? Oh, dude, freaking what the frick, dude? That is the cutest power I've ever seen, dude. I love black power. That is. Hold on, wait. That sounded wrong. That's like a weird like. I love black power. Her name is Power. For anyone. She looks so adorable. Oh my goodness, I love black power waifu. Let's say that. All right, that sounds a little bit better.
How that person apparently sells black edits for
Denji looks so cool too.
A piece. A response saying,
"Tell me why that Denji art works so well, actually, though."
Followers for it is just sad. What's being referred
with
to
the
as
orange hair
apparently sells black edits for $15 a piece. A response saying,
"Nah, son, that's like fair is fair. Like that's not." I feel like what is at this guy? Like what is that point? Like I feel like people have a right to do like fan art and sell the art to somebody who like appreciates the art. Like I don't know. I guess that gets into like whether you feel like at that point you should owe royalties to the original artist, but then who owns the rights there? Is it the company, the artist? Is it the that gets too messy.
Watching this dumpster fire unfold is just sad in general. Sending love to the animators because I never saw anyone talk about this. To which the OP says, people are blinded by hatred, and of course no one has any respect for animators because it's quote-unquote official art. As if it just magically appears and people don't work on it for hours.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The more you think about
like who owns that image of Denji? Who owns that image of the Dan guy? Of No Ball Boy. I'm gonna call him No Ball Boy because that's all I know about him is that he has no balls. At the end of the day, yeah, it would be, of course, in situations where it's an official manga and it has an official artist, like, yeah, no duh, right? Of course. We know who. But there's a lot of cases where that's not the case. For example, Black Clover. I think, was it Blaze Blue? The one with the ship waifus, and then Girls the Frontline anime. What else? Black Clover's the best example I have of it, but I know there's other ones where it's like it was based on a video game first, and then it became anime. Like there was no original manga source, so no original artist really, except for like the artists that they hired to make the characters for the video game, so to speak. Stuff like that.
Situation, the more things come to mind. No hate, of course. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear magically, and they have to work on it for hours and then get overlooked constantly. People attempting to find a middle ground here somewhat. As another response reads, OP can draw. I slid through the media thinking the same thing, because let's be real, that's an edit, not a fan art. Hopefully she sells art and not edits. Fan arts are more appreciated.
That's a really cool way to think about it, Goji, Mr. Goji, at RVNZilla. There is definitely a difference between an edit and a fan art, right? Because an edit sort of like has this connotation to it that sort of says like, "Hey, or the best way to say it is like what's called like a fix. I fixed your art. I fixed it. I made it how it's supposed to be." That's so much more insulting than fan art. I guess that's what I'm talking about. I have no problems whatsoever with fan art, and I freaking love fan art. And I feel like any voice actor worth their weight in salt is gonna love and appreciate fan art coming from any source. Like y'all could draw like y'all could draw me getting it taken from the back. You get me? And I'd still appreciate the fact that you took the time to draw it. You get me? Like even though I don't roll that way. I would still love it. But there is a difference between fan arts, edits, or fixes, whatever you want to call it. You get me? I like the way this dude said it.
Than edits. And the OP ending by saying, very talented kid. I really hope they start making originals and sell those. That certainly does seem like a wise suggestion, and hopefully things regarding this topic overall can get a more positive conclusion. However, for that to happen, people will need to start being more honest about the double standards that are out there, instead of being in denial about them and or using them as some faux justification to harass people. But as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for tuning in, and if you enjoyed my coverage, consider liking and or subscribing. Appreciate ya, and I'll see you in the next one.
Now, in all honesty, here's what I think. I genuinely think that at the end of the day, just using any of this, whether you're for, against, fixed, blah, 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 just using it as an excuse to keep harassing people, just makes you a douche. At the end of the day, if you're harassing people over this because they're making fan art, you're a douche. If you're out there making this art and trying to use it as a freaking political take and trying to be like, I fixed your art or I made it correct because it's like I made it black or I made it more DEI or I made it more like whatever, that's also disrespectful and it's also very douchey. If the character was originally a Japanese person, then they should just be a Japanese person. If I were to, I'm pretty sure nobody would be okay with me changing Chad. Was his name Chad? Let me make sure. Okay. What is wrong with my keyboard? Okay. Yeah, Chad. If I went back and made Chad a white man, if I went back and made Chad a black man, if I went back and made Chad an Irish guy, a Lebanese man, a whatever the frick else you want to pick, I would absolutely be pretty pissed about it. Like you're taking away some Latino representation here. Like think about his abuelo. It wouldn't make sense too because freaking even his attack moves are called Espada del Diablo. Mano derecha. Sorry, mano derecha de Dios. Or is it mano derecha or brazo? Brazo derecha de Dios. Corazón del Dios. Mano izquierda del Diablo. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, none of that would make sense if you were to make him anything else besides a Mexican, besides making him Latino. So yeah, it is intrinsically a part of his character. If you were to make a story about dress up, darling. If you were to make the show where you turned what's his freaking face? I forgot his name. Whatever, the guy, you know what I'm talking about. If you were to make him anything besides a Japanese man, none of the rest of the story would make any sense. Why? Because a lot of it has to do with his culture, the way he grew up, the way he was raised by his grandfather. That his interests are very intrinsic to Japanese culture, and as well as specifically tradition, Japanese tradition. You get me? Like a person's culture, their ethnicity, their background, it is as much a part of them as it is to you, IRL. A character a character's background matters just as much as your background matters to you. Because at the end of the day, a character that is fleshed out and that people can relate to will have a fleshed out background, a fleshed out story. Fixing them or changing them, it's just like, to me personally, it just feels disrespectful to the original artwork, to the original character, and doesn't respect the original artwork, the original character. Make new characters. By the way, speaking of which, on that topic, it was Aaron Magruder, by the way. And yeah, it looks like he was gonna be making the anime. I don't know what happened. He was in talks with, apparently with Moe Animation? No, with, no. They were in some Korean, South Korean studio. I don't know what ended up happening with that. But I'm not seeing a whole lot happening. Like, I'm not a whole lot of news on it. I'm gonna have to look into it. But I remember he was working on that whole situation. I wonder if it's ever gonna come out. It would be interesting. I would love to see it. Anyway, point being, we absolutely need to start seeing some more Western animes. Like, we need more Western animes with African American like characters. Let's freaking make it happen. Let's get it done. Like, why are we trying to take Japanese characters and make them black when we should be taking black characters and make it so popular that the people in Japan are, like, wearing the t-shirts of the black characters from here? Like, come on. It's not that difficult. Why are we trying to, like, race change every freaking character now? It's annoying. Thanks for hanging out. Like or dislike, comment, and subscribe, and become a Monodachi today! I live stream all day, Monday through Friday, so go say hi! That's all for now, Monos. Goodbye, and thanks for swinging by. Salut!